Good afternoon. Back, feeling a bit better. Into it momentarily. Glasses were dirty. Quick cleanup of that. Always, always, always. Clean the glasses and they get dirtier. So, for today, there's a lot to get through. I gotta get through some storyline to unlock Copied Factory and raids. I could go straight into Eden with where I'm at right now. The entirety of Eden is open. Haven't done the fights as much as a lot of the others, but I do enjoy the fights. We'll just play it by ear. We'll go through, start off going through one duty, and then move on to rest. Oh. And go for the main storyline quest. Join that. You might be wondering what I'm doing in Idleshire. The day, or the week that you can pick up an early copy of the Wondrous Tales. I'm going to fill this book up, save it for preliminary, the early access. What I'm hoping will happen is when early access comes out, I'll be able to turn that in for half a level's worth of experience points. So you play through, you get up to about 82, turn that in, and get a lot more. Then you can get a second book, because you have 2 weeks to turn this in. Deadline, December 7th. So, turn one in, then pick one up next week after I turn it in. And that's levels worth. So, the Grand Cosmos. The Grand Cosmos. This is a storyline dungeon, so we're going to skip the cutscene. Hop on Iron Will. This is a fun place. Our healers, they should be good with some pulls. Dancer. Oh, we're synced, so bigger pulls might not be a good idea. This place is basically a large manor of sorts. Oh crap, I turned off. Okay, so remember, when entering a level 80 dungeon, or rather any dungeon that is your current max level, don't click off your tanking stance accidentally. Or on purpose, as I did. Okay. So that was my fault. Grab the trash. Turn them around. Let the party attack the backs of the enemies. There are mechanics that you're going to have to pay attention to in boss fights here, so pay attention, and everything should be golden. Not quite apparent, the mechanics. I do like that they've recycled some of the designs from Final Fantasy XI. These guys wandering around with, like a ghost with a weapon floating over their head. Didn't notice the AoEs on the ground. I've gotten hit by one or two of those. One of the problems when you tank up against a wall. They'll block out potential ground effects. Right. Because we got the boss coming up momentarily, I am not using some of my cooldowns. Seeker of Solitude, first boss. Realize we're an entire bunny group. Alright, so tank this boss middle of the arena. Shadowbolt is going to be a tank buster, so if you can use a mitigating technique there. Right, we've got the anathema going out. You're going to have multiple ink blots hitting the ground. Want to position yourself where the brooms do not cross your path. When they reach an ink blot, they're going to do a small AoE. But you want to avoid getting hit by any of the things that are going across. Dark Pulse is going to be a stack mechanic. Stack up, share the damage, and immediately spread out, because the second half of that is going to be Darkwell, which targets everybody with a... will target AoE that attack the other... Anathema again. Staining the ground. And not stack. Wait for the brushes to go by. I was too close, I got hit by that one. No, I did not get hit by that one. That was an attack from the boss. If I did get hit, I'd have a vulnerability up. So, reason to avoid getting hit by the mops, brooms, mops, is stacking debuff. First boss down. What we get here is 445, so we're going to on everything since we do not need anything. This is a section where you do not want to be front, and you don't want to be casting stuff while you're running. That chest and all that. Alright. Dodges and fights. Once it's down, we got a gate that opens up. One small group here. There's going to be a treasure chest to the right. For those that it's an easily missed one. So just pay attention if you want to get the treasure in this dungeon. Just tank them, dodge out of the AoEs. Be a few of them. Right. We're now at the second boss. Nan-Shi. Form of color. That is going to be the tank buster. You see Storm of Color being cast. The cooldown. Not big cooldown, just normal cooldown. Direct Sling. Okay. So, this thing, you want to grab all of the seeds that are not... Oh crap. Want to grab all the seeds that are in any of the green spots and move them. If you don't, well, going to have some ads spawn. You don't want the ads to spawn because it makes the fight longer and potentially harder. The Lost Love. Grade-wide damage. Ode to the Far Wind. Going to target everybody with a large AoE around them, then target multiple spots on the ground for large AoE as well, and then it's going to reverse and do a ring AoE around the boss. So you want to move accordingly, rush in for the ring attack, and not be standing on each other if you can avoid it for the AoE attack. Now, the second group of these is going to be different. See that there's going to be wind coming from left. What we want to do is we want to grab seeds, drop them someplace where they are not going to be landing on the green. They'll move approximately 1 square. You do not want them to move onto any of the green squares. Pay attention to the direction it's moving. Grab the seeds and move them predictably to a spot where it's not going to cause it to spawn. Okay, this is a section where you definitely don't want to be running a tank. Since it will auto aggro. Dodge out of the AoEs. Going to get these guys, and then I recommend pulling them over here. Reason for this is that there's going to be ads that will appear in this area. The order of these guys going down doesn't really matter. Just burn them down as best you can. Realize that 2 of them are ranged, so you're gonna have to adjust. As soon as these guys are down, get these guys. I'd like to know why my AoE wasn't generating threat on those guys. Dodge the large AoE from the boss. Well, not the boss, but the lord of this section. I believe there's one more kill before the last boss. I could be mistaken, this could be the last trash. May get, I think that is the last trash. Get the... Okay. So while we wait for the other person to get out of the cutscene, what you want to do here, you've got the velvet drapery, you got the pianos, the gilded stool, more drapery over here. You will get targeted with a fire ability, and it's going to leave a dot on you. You want to run to one of the items and have it extinguish on that. I will demonstrate that. Charlie? You got the plush sofas, you got the grand piano, the grand stool, velvet drapery, so when you get targeted with certain fire abilities, you want to run over there. This boss is fun in that scorching left, you'll change directions and then do an attack based upon left or right, which will give a stacking debuff, so you want to watch otherworldly heat. That is going to create a cross. You don't want it to go like that. I should not have run over that far. That destroyed one of the things that will get rid of the debuff. Okay. Mortal Flame is the one that will require you to transfer the flame to another object. Okay, so mechanics have been set out. What normally wipes people here is he goes to the center, fires domain. Get that. He's going to charge. You want to be far away from the next person that he's going to charge. He's going to charge, do a frontal cone, so move to you, and then out of the way. Do not be standing between him and the next target. Now you'll notice that there's only 2 sofas here, and we're all 4 going to be getting the damage from the fire ability. However, he creates more things for us to tear it off of. Dang it. Okay, good. Alright, so make sure that you can always transfer the blue fire debuff that you get to something else. This is a lot of movement. It can be extremely difficult if you've got all melee classes. Scorching right, you don't want to be on the boss's right side. Going to be doing Fire's Domain again. Right away from people. If you've got a line that is basically arrows either direction, you're too close. It's a purple line like that, you're good, and you don't need to worry about taking extra damage from the attack. Captive Bolt. That is the Tank Buster. Alright, we're being targeted with this again. Otherworldly Heat goes off, leaves a ground dot. Ground exploding. A landmine. Okay. This has actually been a very good run of this fight. Scorching left. You can also tell what side he's going to go to because it's the side that has the sword on it. Fire's Domain. See how it was arrows both directions for a bit and then player moved away? That's the end of the fight. Skip the cutscene because it leads into some stuff. But to the answer for the not seen the Cosmos partition before. It's tradable, so I'm going to if I can. Didn't win that one. Okay, we're going to come out. We're going to go into some storyline because that's been acting kind of funny today. Open doesn't main. Comes to worse, I will reboot. Funny, throughout the years, Microsoft has, constantly been coming up with a new operating system, and it's like right when the operating system becomes like functional, that they say, oh, we're creating a new one. And it's like Windows 10 was supposed to be the last. Weren't going to be any more after 10. And like a week after I transferred over to Windows 10 because Windows 7 was no longer being supported by anything. They announced Windows 11. It's like, really? They're going to be facing some problems in certain countries. Advertised promises. Specifically, we're not going to need another operating system after 10. So yeah, it feels like Windows 10. So with Windows 98, second pack installed, it worked perfectly fine for a long time. I had very few problems. I was able to manage things very well. Had to update, had to change to Windows XP because I bought a new system, and Windows 98 did not have drivers for the boards, and that is basically the only reason that I've been updating the new system is a new operating system, because it's so far gone that I can't update stuff. And like, if Windows 98 was still viable, I'd probably still be using that because it was stable, worked very well for what I needed it to do. Actually, control everything that I wanted to. And then, XP, next one that I had, and XP, I learned to get used to it. And then 7 came along, and 7 was just a pain in the butt to get used to. If I had downgraded to 10 when they had that huge drive to get everyone switched over to 10, first off, my computer back then would not have been happy with me. Because looking at the requirements for Task Manager, like, more resources than I would have been able to do half as much because of how much of a resource glutton Windows 10 is. So now I'm using 10. They announced 11. No. Always expect Microsoft to lie to you. But I'd say stability-wise, this is the one I've had. After a fresh install, unless I was doing something extreme, I would not force a unexpected Basically, I wouldn't have a blue screen of death. This has blue screen of death twice in less than half a year, and it just does not seem as stable. I would chalk that up to possibly being hardware, but all the scans of the hardware come back perfectly fine. Of course, there are all sorts of background can't shut off because it's wired to run Windows 10. Not integral to running Windows 10. If I didn't game like I do, I would definitely be over on Linux. But because, if it's like a 98% functionality, that's still, you're gonna reach a point where you're gonna have a problem come up that will constantly cause the game to crash because it's not functioning properly in the environment. Of course, the other alternative is to run Windows in a sandbox. I don't really feel like doing that. A lot more work than I'm ready to invest. But yeah, Microsoft, they can really just go fuck themselves. Getting kind of tired of, oh, you need this update, and nope. I had to get a new phone recently too, so it's not just Microsoft that does it. Updates that you install the update and it automatically turns on services that you turned off without telling you that it's turned those services on. So it's like they get a Windows update and I turned my microphone on to get ready for this, and Cortana goes, "Hey, what do you want to know about?" And it's like, "Bitch, I turned you off." I don't know anybody in their right mind that uses Cortana. One of those features that's like Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge, where its sole purpose is to be turned off and never used. But with updating the phone, when you get a new phone, you've got to go through a slew of updates depending upon how old it is. Even if it's relatively new, you still have to go through the various updates. And part of that is that, if it's an Android, you gotta go and log into a Google account to access the Play Store so you can install fucking applications for it. And after you do that, without even asking, Google likes to sync everything. So I have to go in and turn off all of those syncs. And I know that I turned them off beforehand because I did so from the computer. So, yeah. And of course, after it updates, because new updates because it's a new phone, it seems like it's wanting to update every time I turn it on. Like it's just connected to the Wi-Fi and it's saying, oh, there's a new update, so please go update. And after every update, it's turning on features that I had turned off. Like, what was it today? The ability to type was removed, and all that was available was the voice to text option. And I had turned off specifically the voice to text option, and it completely reversed what was there, and there was no option to, change that. So I had to go spending some time searching and sent the feedback to Google saying, hey, if you're going to fuck up your stuff, make it impossible to change it from the menu that pops up. It's not a feature. I don't know. Technology should be simple for the user. And it feels like whenever they bring out something new, they try to hide all of their features behind so many different menus, so many different submenus. When I finally figured out how to do that from wonderful people that had experienced the same fucking problem, it was go down like 18 menus deep and tick something and then install something else after that has been ticked. And I shouldn't need to install additional software to fix a problem inherent in the base software. The problem should be solved at the source, but nice if there were people that, you know, were that we elected to take care of certain stuff like this to protect us from, you know, people and organizations that are trying to cause problems and hurt people on a whole. I mean, wouldn't it be kind of funny if they actually, you know, did something to help people? The whole debacle this last year with Facebook, um, hopefully that's going to spark something at least at a state level. But much as I'd hope for something like that, I know nothing's gonna change. Because there are too many people that are invested financially. The only thing that matters, it's why we're still on fossil fuels right now. Um, Too many people make money from it, so we're not going to be switching over from it. And the funny thing is, you've got people that say, oh, well, don't get political, don't get political. Frankly, I don't think protecting people is political. I do not feel that that is something that is political. And I don't, when it comes to the whole climate discussion, if you can even call it a discussion, you just have people that are looking at the science and going, this is a problem, and the people that are saying, oh, don't believe science. Science has always lied to us. The problem that arises is that, you know, until the climate discussion was looking like it was going to start to impact certain companies' profits, that's when it became a political issue. Because before, everyone was like, yes, we need to do something to help stop this environmental stuff. And, you know, across the world, that was kind of a mentality that, oh, so the Hudson River, New York City, vile. I mean, so much garbage in it that you could probably walk across it, you know, back in the 50s and 60s. Then they started paying attention to, oh, this is environmental stuff, and it gradually became cleaner. I mean, there's an old skit from Saturday Night Live. I don't know if they've put it on YouTube yet, but it is an advertisement for a drink called Swill. It's pure 100% Lake Erie water. And it's like watching frozen molasses being poured out of a bottle that's also got, you know, debris of like bubblegum wrappers and, you know, bits of can in it. So, you know, it was big enough problem back in the 70s that, you know, it was so bad it was comical. And you know, we've got the abilities to up. It's just that the people that are causing the problems don't want to put into their profits. It's like it wouldn't even be that big of an issue for them to, you know, invest the money into it. It just means people that are getting overpaid. I stand by that phrase. Um, they just don't get to buy their second yacht or, you know, buy that additional 200,000 shares in that company that they're trying to kill, take over. Like, I honestly feel that the majority of the money in this world is in the hands of people that don't deserve it. And they got it specifically because they don't deserve it. But when it comes to the environment, it's not political. Anybody that tries to make it political is just a fucking it's a matter of the survival of the species. Not just us as a but many other species on this planet, because, you know, if we lose a keystone species, that is going to destroy whole habitats, entire ecosystem. And, you know, we are looking at mass extinctions on a yearly level. Let me rephrase that. We are looking at a mass extinction right now. Every year it gets worse. Got the ability to solve it, but instead of actually taking action, it's a lot of hemming and hawing, and, of course, people saying, well, I don't believe in a climate change. And it's funny. Climate change is talked... I am going to get political for a second here. Climate change is discussed as this horrible left-wing idea, when climate change was something that was coined in its current incarnation during Bush Jr.'s presidency, as a means of being able to talk about global warming without a means for their administration to talk about global warming without, you know, saying that they are talking about global warming. It was just a bit of stupidity. But getting back to the original point, companies need to be regulated because we are seeing you're seeing what happens when you let them regulate themselves. Like Facebook, oh, we don't have the power to do this, yet they have clearly shown that they do have the power to regulate themselves and to limit certain types of conversation. But because those were the things that got the most engagement, they didn't. Because it's all about engagement. So they knew they were spreading misinformation, and they're still spreading misinformation even after everything that's gone through. You know, going in, and the fact that it took until, you know, previous administrations honesty to warrant fact-checking on Twitter is just another sign that these companies need to have some form of regulating body. And the FCC should be in charge of doing something like that because it is technical limitations. But I feel that it's beyond the scope of the FCC at this point. In the US, I'm speaking, of course, for the US. I know other countries have different things, but there needs to be some form of regulation that basically says, hey, kind of like a HIPAA for our own personal data. That, you know, a company cannot force you by saying, in order to gain access to this information, in order to be able to use this site, you have to tell us this information about yourself that we totally promise we're not going to sell to anybody when, you know, harvest data and sell it. So, you know, a matter of regulation that prevent companies from taking advantage of the users and, you know, blatantly ignoring problems that they are causing. go to Twitter as a prime example. I'm going to insinuate, based upon the actions of the company, that the people in charge have a soft spot for certain types of posts. Or I'm also going to insinuate that they might be participating in said certain types of behaviors. What I'm talking about is, you can get kicked off there for, calling somebody a fucking moron for having a different political opinion. You can get a ban on there, but if you are actively grooming somebody, an act that is illegal in most, if not all states, perfectly fine. Your account will just be overlooked. Stuff like that just makes no sense to me. And from what I have seen, you are actually more likely to get your account banned if you report somebody for that than if... Yeah. Just infuriating. So do I feel that they need to have a regulation board? Hell yeah. Do I feel that it needs to be people from the industry? Fuck no. You have people from the industry regulating the industry. It's self-regulation again. It's like when previous administration put Ed Pye in charge of the FCC. That was a Verizon lawyer who was put in charge of a governing body that covers Verizon and Comcast and all these organizations that, wants to help get more money. Regulation board should be looking out for interests of the populace, not the interests of the business. So, you know how on food you've got like freshness dates and whatnot. One of the reasons that we have the freshness dates, even though modern day the expiry date is purely arbitrary, and usually the freshness date and the expiry date are kind of one and the same in that you have to consume it before that time for the best taste of the product, etc. One of the reasons that we have that is because of the gangster Al Capone. It's worth looking into. I may get some of the details wrong, but based upon what I recall, a member of his family or somebody that was close to him got sick after eating some contaminated food. So he went on sort of a crusade to make sure that all these places have a means of saying when this was packaged, when it's good until. And, putting expiry on your food is lovely. I hate the... Putting expiry stuff on your food is... There is no requirement for that. Companies do not have to do that. It is purely by choice. Voluntary, that's the word I'm looking for. And a lot of people don't know that. Think, oh, well, because it's on there, it has to mean something. And it's like, no, it doesn't really mean anything. And the food can go bad before then, and it can go bad long after then. I think instead of a freshness date, we should have a packaging. Packaging date would tell us a lot more about what is actually going on. then maybe a little bit of information saying, hey, we expect this to last, be useful for about, 5, 6, 7 days before it should go bad. And I know some drinks will have comments, some food will say, consume within like 2 days of opening, because bacteria can grow in there. It wasn't in there beforehand. So yeah, I feel that the FDA needs to actually step in and make those things actually like set parameters for it so that not everybody can do their own thing. And I especially want them to do stuff with supplements. Kind of messed up that the supplement industry has been running wild for so long, and get a box of supplements, get a bottle of something, and it could be half sawdust that's packed in there with the herb that you want, or even just like a filler herb like chamomile. I use chamomile because it's used as a filler in a lot of celestial seasonings, and it's just one of those things that, I can taste it, and it detracts from the actual flavor that they're going for, but they use it because it's a bulk. It's a cheap, very cheap, very cheap filler that they can put in there. Much as I love Estinian, I do not like playing as him. I don't really want to play Estinian, I want to play my character. But, yeah, I feel that, the regulating bodies have just been completely hamstringed in what they can do. Because it's bad business to regulate business. Like, one of my family members is really big on pipeline safety. And, most people don't realize that in this country every year we have about approximately, it does vary from day to day, but there's at least one pipeline leak a day, at least. What does that say about the safety of the pipelines that are in this country that are carrying oil past things like water supplies? People were really up in arms and against the XL Keystone pipeline because it was going to be carrying oil across the largest aquifer in the country. With the track record on safety for the said pipelines, it's just common sense that you don't want to have, another pipeline that's going to be a huge bit of infrastructure that they are going to refuse to maintain. The other fun thing about it is they like to use taxpayer money to build the thing, saying, oh, it's going to create jobs, it's going to create jobs. It creates a lot of short-term jobs and maybe a dozen long-term jobs. And that's death. Nope, not death. Okay. Oh, so I just need to keep using that skill. Oh, it's invulnerable. Oh, I can't because I fucking hate those. Browse return. Oh, do we not get to choose the difficulty? Oh, we can't. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Okay. Get through this shit again. But yeah, the organizations that are meant to be protecting us are headed by people that have vested interests in the industries that they are. It's a conflict of interests, and it just needs to stop. It's something that, you know, is common sense. You shouldn't... Hey, you have stocks. You should not be making laws that affect what could happen to this stock. I mean, that's not just common sense, that's common decency right there. Much better. Hopefully the next part of this fight will go faster. I think the short of it is, there are too many people out there trying to there are too many people out there that are trying to influence others in a negative way, specifically for their own gain. That noise is really annoying. Checks and balances that should be in place are not in place. Or if they are, they're being ignored. It's like... Well, what was the one that I saw the other day? The church loophole? Taxes, whatnot. Oh, it looks like it's gonna be the same. So, basically there is a rule at the IRS that says if a church begins to act as a political entity, then they lose their status. And there have been a bunch of a bunch of religious groups that have actively taunted and basically said, hey, we're going to be acting politically, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you know, the IRS has not acted once to remove the tax exempt status from these groups. And it's like you had the organization, that tiny church, where you know the guys in charge were literally selling bleach people to drink and or inject into themselves as a panacea for COVID, among other things. And it wasn't the IRS that got them for, you know, their actively dangerous practices. It was the FDA that went after them. And, you know, I understand why the FDA would go after them. Good thing the FDA went after them. I believe the guy that did that is currently in jail for various things. But, yeah, just... people that are in positions of power need to be reined in. Being rich, being a religious leader, being a lawyer, whatever position that you are in, that you have power in, needs to be regulated. Sorry about the tangents today. Some things are frustrating, and you know, a lot of the filters go away when I've been sick. And I don't even think that anything that I'm saying, aside from the one instance earlier where I explicitly said, yeah, I'm being political here, I do not believe that anything that I've said is something that should be politicized. It's something that just should be matter of fact. Like, people should not be, you know, people should have a say and not be forced to reveal information. Okay. So, I think back to when Blizzard decided that they were going to display everybody's real name with their new system, where, you know, the name that you signed up with, that's what you're going to have displayed next to all of your forum posts, everything that's going on around you. Your name is going to be attached to it, because they thought that it would keep people from being trolls. But in reality, what it was doing is doxing their entire user base. Because, you know, I don't know about you, but, you know, I don't really like my real name out there on the net. It's out there, and, you know, if somebody is really desperate, they could find it. For what purpose? I have no idea. But it's just something that, you know, I do not like my real name out there. It's just a personal thing, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that are like that. With the current way of things, you have to use your real name to sign up for certain sites. At least you had to on, like, Facebook. It was a requirement. No longer a requirement. You can make fake accounts left and right, which causes its own little thing of problems, but the fact that that information is available whether you want it to be available or not, that is where I have the issue. And, you know, I actually learned this like about a month ago, how easy it is to actually find somebody. And not just find them, but without paying for any of the websites that are like, hey, learn about this. I was able to track down someone from my past that I was trying to reconnect with, and, it was scary to me how quickly the information would be obtained, and just how a lot of things are in the public record. It's public record is a scary thing. I mean, I'm somebody that agrees with it, but at the same time understands that there needs to be some rules in place for it as well. Because it just feels like I was able to look up my own history and, find out where I had lived for like the past some odd years. Since I was a kid, I'll put it that way. Right, we just unlocked Ruby Weapon storyline, so that's going to lead us into the weapons, which are... I don't think I've done Diamond Weapon on my main characters. That'll be fun. Yeah. The amount of information that's available, just searchable. I mean, I was able to look up myself, my parents, siblings, my grandparents, extended family. Pretty much, I was kind of curious as to how far the rabbit hole went, and oh, it goes really deep. In addition to that, it also listed pseudonyms, so other names that they had used, including like online handles, and this was all from basically free services. So being able to control our data online is important. I think that we really need to start having not a legislative body, but a regulating body that basically says, hey, so this end user license agreement says that you can take all this information and sell it to a third party. You need to have that as a separate thing, apart from the end user license agreement. These terms of service, they say that you need to provide this information. That information cannot be tied with the terms of service. That's the kind of stuff that I feel needs to be added. I'm very much pro individual rights. I believe that they protect us from... I mean, there are organizations out there. Electronic Frontier Foundation is a great one. It has been fighting since... for as long as I can remember, against companies doing stuff. And, we had a minor victory with the current reworking of the DMCA, in that, jailbreaking your phones, well, not jailbreaking, but actually doing repair work on your phones should be in the hands of the end user, not in the hands of just the licensed people that the company that releases this stuff says needs to be out there. Caveat to that is that if it's like if it's a gaming system like PlayStation or Switch, or that other piece of crap, only applies to optical drives. Doesn't apply to anything else. So you should be able to not void your warranty if you replace the optical drive. that fails. Like it did on my first PS3. But, yeah. My first PS3, when it came to replacing the item, or... yeah. So, to replace... I would have had to ship my PS3 off to a place. It would have been worked on. The thing would have been fixed, and it would have come back. All in all, it would have been about $120 for parts, labor, and the place that I was taking it to, their fee for handling it. And at the same time, a new PlayStation 3 was $150 on Amazon. So, like, I could ship it off and get this fixed for this, so I could get a new one right out of the box with twice as much memory and a new controller. I think I'm gonna go with the new one. So, got a new one. I still need to go over and hook it up and
I will not mince.
download all the games that I purchased because the PS3, and I'm kind of expecting them to, because I haven't transferred the games to the new consoles. As in, I bought some old PlayStation 1 games on the PlayStation Network, and they have not re-released them for PlayStation 4 or 5. So, yeah. Want to go download those before they decide, oh, we're going to be ending service for PlayStation 3 completely on our network. Off and on. Alright, so, that will stop having your little conniptions. Okay, why the fuck are you dropping frames? That's why you're dropping frames. Okay. That's totally on me. So yeah, something I need to try to do. Matter of burying everything. It's nice being able to clean when everything yours. When you can't clean because it might upset someone else in the household, it's really fucking aggravating. Oh no, I want to keep that. Oh no, I want to keep that. Oh no, I want to keep that. Great. Where are we going to put it? Okay, I'm getting fucking sick of that. I do not want to exit to this. I want to go to Mysterium. I have only been live for feels like a lot long. And yeah, I'm a angry today. Definitely. I didn't. Getting over being sick. full faculty. Here to anger. Basically express a lot of emotion. $70 farther in this. I don't even know if we have to do 71 to advance. Mercury. Oh. This break up some monotony of the questing. And don't get me wrong, enjoy the storyline when you can. Wanting to get through things quickly. With a short guy that just needs. I think I just realized why I hate Alphinaud. I am not a fan of when playing a game not a fan of when you play a game that there is another character that is added in that is sort of like the narration. Like, I fucking hate Paimon in Genshin Impact. I understand why she's there. I don't agree with why she's there, but I understand why she's there. She is basically the main character's voice that overrides the main character's voice. And if you played Genshin Impact, it's very similar in the choices in this game, though a lot more blatant, in that it doesn't matter what choice you pick. Here, they are few and far between. In that game, it's like every conversation you've got like 3 things to say, and it makes absolutely no difference to the outcome. I feel that Alphanod serves a very similar role in this game because I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do an actual dungeon. But yeah, I feel that Alphanod kind of fits that role in this, in that as soon as he's introduced, he is now the main character. In almost any time that he's on screen, he is the main character, and you are no longer the main character. And I don't like when they have to do that for any bit of story, especially if it's a first-person game like this, or a role-playing game where you are taking on the mantle of the hero. And I do wish that there were more branches that you could go down, especially with the addition of the New Game Plus. Like, give players the option of going like one of 3 different paths for a certain storyline event. Like, say you've got Alphanod, you've got LSA, and you've got Ishtola, and they're saying you can come with us to do this. You can. Each one goes to a different thing, and they happen simultaneously instead of having to go and do each one individually, as if they are not happening at the same time. And if it's not a pressing thing, where when there's a party split, you get to choose which party to go with, and it's a different encounter. And with the New Game Plus, they could easily implement that and still have the ability to go back and find out what the storyline that comes up during that branch is like. Because ultimately, it's still 2 branches that loop back to themselves, like, Southern family tree. But at the same time, that might not be as great because you're still getting the same storyline key points that are needed regardless of what path you would take. So it ultimately feels hollow. Going back for a little lore. Some people just don't like lore. When reveal the map. Yep, that solved the drop frame. Always forget to turn that program off. Right, Raktika is mapped. Why is it taking so long? I don't want to go in with another trust. That's 370. Right. Still watching and made it this far. Thanks. One of these. Stand on and look out from. I remember this room. Secondary entrance. That plant. Like a crystal from far away. Not people queuing for the duty. Alternately, there could be just a bunch of tanks that decided to queue at the same time. Take precedent. Alright, we've got... Go there. Have I done that? I want to say that I have, but I think I did it on Sav. Not on... Bunny. This is gonna get real messed up weeks from now. 10 days from now. Right, so we've got another high-level duty to do. Unlocked. Another... ink. 410. wanted to do that, but like that's good. Now, so we're gonna go and just continue on the main story quest and wait till we get to the next dungeon. Then, for all three, we can enter into the weapon fights. And yes, I'm going to do this single player one as well because it's not the most apparent how to do it. Wish that you could do it for loot later on. Riddles 3, it's Sphinx. I'm still sick. And how do we get Phila back? Talismans hide friend and foe. Choose well, sorrow no. This is it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's just a match game. Might as well. Of course. Now we get to the combat.
No mercy. Here I come. I will not hold back.
Okay. Heck. Never seen that before. I actually won't mind getting to the puppet's bunker tonight. Academia. Academia. Come on. Alright, alright, alright. Go. Academia Aniter. So, hold two groups here. Technically, two groups. Three groups. Crash along here is not going to be that big of an issue. Just make sure you keep yourself up. Up cooldowns as needed. Your gear will be de-leveled if you are above 310 in here, 410 in here. Keep AoEing everything down. avoid the AoEs as they come out. Have to do a bit of running around. But if you're this far in the game, and you've been watching my videos, you will know that you just run around to avoid AoE stuff. Oh. Didn't know that there was a small group before the door. It's been a while since I've been in here. I think this is like my 4th or 5th time in here, so take that, grain of salt. Wrong idiom. Dodging, killing, dodging, killing. Okay, so for this, let's gather them up. Almost to the first boss. Very simple trash pulls here. No major things that you need to look for. Dodge the abilities. Your defensive skills as you see fit. Up on the platform, and we come to the first boss, or first bosses. So, tank it facing away from the group. An eye out for different skills. Title Guillotine you want to run away from. Kind of why you don't want to tank this guy in the middle of the arena, or at the edge of the arena. Want to tank him in the middle. Alright, we got red guy coming out. So with the red guy out, he's going to be doing his skills. The blue guy's going to be swimming around out there. This guy does a frontal cone in a random direction. Keep an eye on the blue guy. He's going to gather his strength, he's going to jump out. We want to move away from where the blue guy jumps out. Because he does the ability of a point-blank AoE. So for that guy, the red guy's swimming around now. What you'll want to do is wait for him to make his appearance, and you will want to not be standing in the location of where the cone is going to come out. So, be either left or right of where it will come out, or you'll get hit by it. Oh. You're jumping out again. If you want to move, make sure that you are not hit by the AoE. A very simple mechanic. By the time the red one decides to pop out again, blue guy is going to be dead. We'll have to deal with his pop out ability. Your frontal cone. Very simple fight. Just got to pay attention to where the other street shark is. .430 meaning, or 4:30. Okay, grabbing the first group. Swing the run. Second group. Established, cooldown popped. Okay, burn through the trash. Got 2 targets, you can ranged attack them to establish threat. 3 targets, a little bit harder, but not impossible. Gotta make sure it doesn't decide to unload on the target that you going after last. Guess you can't really tell what somebody's going to target as the main enemy. General good rule of thumb is not start DPSing until tank stops. Alright, Marquis Morble. Tank him in the middle. Disgusting little creature. Pay attention to the target. People are going to get targeted. They want to not drop that on other players. Pay attention to the ground. Harbor Storm. Pay attention to the direction that the tentacles are, because you don't want to be under a tentacle when it goes down. Used to go around and around in a circle. And you don't want to be in front of him when that process ends. You'll get a damage down debuff and a poison. Be to the side or to the butt. Blossom. You don't want to be standing on the targeted area. Right, we got the tendrils again. Pump. Not be stacked with anybody else while you have this AoE over you. It's a very simple fight. Those are the main mechanics. Awesome. Probably gonna do the orange ones this time. Pay attention to everything going on. Fight is over relatively quickly. I kind of feel like I should be saying more. Really not much to say in this fight. Don't stand in front of the boss. It's doing its tentacle flail. Just keep on moving. Full armor. Remember, the jump pull is used so that you can continuously run in the same direction without having your character turn and face the enemy. If you're mid-air and you use the ability, it treats you as if you are still... it treats it as a camera movement. Otherwise, you will turn and lob your shield and start running in a different direction. So, jump lobbing is great. I tend to do something similar on my bard. I'm running from something, jump and attack, jump and attack, jump and attack. Engendered Pegasus. Right. As with most trash, just attack them together, DPS down as fast as you can. Avoid the AoEs. Okay. Kind of remember this fight. What's a quaddle? First, we need to get out of the cutscene, then we will pull. Right. This fight I will explain as we go. A lot of things that you need to dodge. Thunderbolt. Okay. Do not want to stack these. Want to spread them out. You'll get these 3 orbs. 4 orbs. You want to pick them up. If not, they're going to charge up the boss. Got 1 stack of damage up. Anytime those go up, doesn't matter if you're healer, tank, or DPS, you want to pick them up. Alright, boss is going to disappear to one side. There are going to be 4 orbs that get launched out. You want to get to safety of the Eye of the Ring and continue DPSing. And you can move the boss again. Storm going out. So the fight thus far is very simple. It's dodging things and making sure things don't stack. You can position yourself in a place where you can actually go pick up orbs after you deal with that. Good, they're going and grabbing that. One of the keys to getting this fight done quicker is to grab the orbs, because they factored in the damage that would be dealt from players with the orbs into the boss's health. Right, let's finish this fight. I gotta run through it. You'll take damage if you run through the fields. That's okay. Don't stack them, but pick them up. Right. After that, everything is just wash, rinse, repeat with this. Go out, grab that one, and I'm going to run back here and grab these two. Dodge the attack, dash in. Pop cooldowns and kill. Quetzalcoatl shouldn't put up too much of a fight. Oh, unless this happens. The dots can still kill the boss after they teleport like that, so. Thank you for watching. This got that I need to ban. So, do not come into my channel and start spamming Bullshit. Skip this. I've been playing Genshin Impact a bit too long, and can't skip anything in that game, which is a major annoyance. But yes, someone came into chat and decided that they wanted to tell me about how to basically take steps to get my account banned. Translation, they wanted me to pay, go to a website and pay money to have my viewer count increased, and no. I'm okay with low viewer count, as long as it's a viewer count that I earned. Down to South Derelict. Southeast Derelict. Let's go up for the twinning again. If it takes forever again. On moving. Go say hi to Thancred. Just realized we have a lot to go through. Hey, we get to go to a place we haven't discovered yet. Fun. Yay, we got this too. This, I don't remember. A lot of these dungeons I don't. I'll enjoy it nonetheless. If people actually decide to join. Huh? Like we're gonna get kicked back out in the queue. Always the last one you look at. I think it's because it's flagged to do be that way. Is that no longer first in queue. Labyrinth moment there. That wall looked like it was just an actual wall, not an exit. Close. Expansion is supposed to be out right now. Back a couple. Still got a lot of problems that they're trying to out, but I don't think they're gonna get back again. Unless it's a serious problem. The official launch date is 7th, but get it the 3rd. Those of us that have pre-ordered access it. The benefit for and with the exception of Shadowbringers, I did pre-order the previous expansion. Hell, I even had the original game collector's edition ordered back when you could actually, order it in a game shop and go pick it up in person. It's interesting to think that was 2010. It's interesting to think things have changed so short of amount of time. They don't release the collector's editions. Of course, you have to get it direct from Square. I would have gotten a physical collector's edition if it were available to purchase, but I think that they create them and release them based upon how many people pre-ordered it. After that, the only like hit eBay or something. I'm okay with One Mist expansion. Didn't have money. Like $2 for it. Alright. Let's hope we get Nist. The twinning. Well, for those of you that have been with me for a while, or playing the game for a while, you'll recognize this as the Tower of the Ancient. Rather, the Crystal Tower Labyrinth of the Ancients was the first one, Circus Tower is the second one. This is more of Circus Tower. Tower of the Ancients, that was a nice little faux pas there. Down there. Part of the labyrinth. Through this trash, you aren't going to be able to pull more than 1 or 2 groups at a time because they are going to create jumps that you have to use to get to the next section. Want to know why this looks like the Circus Tower? Please play the storyline. Toss a heal out. The Minotaur is going to act like a Minotaur. I recommend keeping that on focus target so that you can stun it if you need to. Save low blow for if it starts casting something that does not have. Like this. Can't. Because fully spam prevents actually connect. Grab these 2 guys. Run up to the next group and grab them. They'll have the Hydra that will break out. What you want to do is you want to focus the Hydra and hope that they don't fully spam again. If they holy spam, you cannot stun what you need to stun. Interject doesn't work on certain abilities. Okay, interject does not work on that. So, yeah, if you are playing as a white mage and you really want to toss Holy out, make sure that the ads that you're fighting aren't ads that need to be stunned. Okay. After they die, next jump pad is going to be here. You're with the boss. Alpha Zagnal. Now, I know for a fact that these things to the side have, deal with this. I believe you do not want to bring the boss over to the side, crack those open, because then you can fight them. The boss is going to do various abilities, take him to the side. Not want to, like number 3, you don't want to go there. Because that happens. So if you get marked with something, stay in the north or the south of the map to avoid doing that. Same with that one. Can't heal him, so we'll heal somebody else. Roar. Charge eradicated. Stack mechanic. Okay, for the stack mechanic, it's going to go out twice, but you don't want to stay standing in that location. That was my mistake. I did not see the fire that was laid out below us. So, be fire. Well, I suppose that is a good way of doing it. Blade's gonna go out. Goes to the places that are already broken, so it can't break those again. So if you've got some that have been opened, you can use those to direct the attacks to. Right. That's the first boss taken care of. If you have questions about that boss, please just ask them below. Landborg. If I were a robot, what would my name be? Hey, TV don't attack things. Established, huh? This trash, mostly just tank and spank. Can be a few AoEs that you have to dodge out of, which is okay. Not very difficult trash to get through. And of course I cannot run that. Opening up with Flare is one really generate a lot of threat on you. Okay, holy spam is done. Start getting heals, and I need to mitigate damage. Dodge the AoEs that are going out. In many games I've played, cooldowns are saved for bosses. In this game, it's kind of the opposite. Cooldowns are used when you need them, regardless of boss or trash. Designed such. I like that design a lot better because it teaches you to use your cooldowns and if you use your sounds more often, you will remember to use them. Don't recall this fight at all. Thunder Beam. Tank Buster. Got the orbs. Gotta move ourselves to where we're not going to be close to any of the orbs. Okay. The orbs will explode. Move yourself to be a fair distance away. Laser Blade, it's a crisscross attack. Stand someplace safe. Try not to stand on anybody because I think that there's going to be another effect next time that happens. Yep, Mulligan Thunder. Right. Electric Discharge. Going to get hit by at least one of them. Try to mitigate which one you're going to get hit by. Look for a position that is away from the orbs, safe, but do not stack on another person. Best way to avoid the damage with the... Okay, so here I'm gonna pop this. I do wish it wouldn't close the loot when it's changing zones. Can't get either of them. Alright, this trash is going to be a little bit more difficult. Memory serves. Grab two groups. Trying to remember what about this trash is problematic. Copper. And Borg. Ah, yes. So, this Oil Buster is going to have a large AoE effect. Ring. One reason that I prefer not to pull these two groups together is having to dodge two rings that go out at the same time can be difficult and usually ends up with some dying, especially if they're inexperienced in this, which it seems like at least a couple of them are. And hit the Boil Buster. Yeah. We got 2 of them. The 3 of them is going to be a pain in the butt. You'll see what I mean. Somebody is going to get hit by it. Wasn't expecting 2 people to get hit by it, but if they're close together like that, then they can be both avoided, but they don't normally like to sit next to each other that close. Okay. That dead, we are to final boss. Yeah. Forgot who the boss was until the music played. Not be surprised if you wipe on the boss. I like to tank the boss facing away from the party. Agitech Cross Ray. Temporal Stasis initiated. So, do not stand in any direction that the lasers are going to be going, because you will get hit. There's a temporal delay. Remember this. Remember this temporal delay. This is going to come into play when we enter into Eden. Okay, those red ones are not expanding in size, so you can just dodge them. Rail Cannon. Rail Cannon is the tank buster, just toss up your shield wall, or your Sheltron. Defensive Array. Make sure you are not standing in the direct line of sight of any of the lasers. Targeted ground AoE on everybody. High tension discharger, I think that's raid-wide damage. Yeah, raid-wide damage. Tech Cross Ray. Can be cardinal directions that the boss is facing. You just move. Don't stand in the way of the rays. Also realize that other effects are going to come into play, so you'll have to move accordingly when the other effects enter. Try not to get hit. Cannon again. Defensive Array. Come over here. Probably gonna have another set of stack. So we got the red dots that are going to expand. Got this. Dodge out of. Don't want to get hit by anything. So as long as you position yourself properly, you'll be able to get through the fight relatively. Oh, I should be checking my... Yep. Sent me back to her. Tails. Alright, let us continue storyline and get to the next dungeon. I think is actually going to be... I think the next dungeon is going to be the one that I've been thinking of. Go away. Hello there, I didn't see you before. Right. Now that we've flown out here a second time. Oh, it gave me an appropriate amount. Going underwater. Every time I see barnacles, I remember one Simpsons bit. Hear about Boy George? Got arrested trying to scrape barnacles off his dinghy. The bad one. Supposed to be like a Johnny Carson bit. As in, it's Johnny Carson talking to Ed McMahon. Kind of an older reference. I think it was a flashback. One of the many flashback episodes. Not like it's gonna matter. I'm actually thinking about taking all the materia that I've got, like the rank 8, and taking it over to get it... Taking it over to, I think his name's Mutamix. Anyways, the place that is in Thanalin, to have it all changed over. Because there's a chance of it turning into a higher grade of materia. We're going to have higher grades of materia made available. All of these... Those are low. But like the rank 8s. Probably get turned into rank 9s or 10s, but way they give materia out these days, it's not that big of an issue, but I think for the gathering and crafting it might be. So I haven't done gathering and crafting in a while. Just to level it up, haven't kept up with it. Anamnesis. Anamnesis. Okay. So that is going to be 440. Anamnesis Aniter. And while we're waiting for that, I'm gonna get a definition of what that word is. Huh. Not really anything. No? Right. Sorry about the little lull there. Anamnesis Aniter. I'm just trying to get my mouth around it. Those are two words that are not commonly said. Almost a tongue twister. Alright, the fate's not up. However, there is a hunt mark. So this is a place you can come to test out various things in various fights to see what's going on. Got a striking dummy in case you want to do your whatchamacallit, test your DPS. It's just not playing nice with me today. I'm gonna check and see if this is the last storyline dungeon, or if there's gonna be more. Well, I know there's gonna be more. In fact, all of them are going to be storyline dungeons from here on out. I have done all of the non-storyline dungeons. Tis and Niter. Anamnesis and Niter. Yep, this is the one that I was thinking of. Alright, so make sure that you've got your tank stance on. Now that we're not in leveling, just look at the top instead of clicking enemy. This is a fun dungeon. A fungeon, if you will. We're gonna wait for them to get through the thing to 500. So, first bit of trash gonna come to us. They're going through water and they are coming to us. Everyone is wanting to go immediately hard on targets that I have not established threat on. Okay, happens. So, I don't know about other players, but I have a tendency of, if I pull threat on a mob, I immediately switch to a different mob. It is just something that I have learned to do over years of playing games like this. Unless there is only one target, if I pull threat, I go to a different target because I'm doing way too much damage to whatever I'm fighting. Especially in Final Fantasy XIV, if you pull threat, you're doing something wrong. Or the tank is dead. Or you're by yourself. But ultimately, if you're fighting something and you pull threat, there's a good chance you are doing something wrong. I like this. Gives you the sensation that things are moving. Alright, we've got these two things. Rocks are gonna fall. Immediately they pop up as enemies. Establish threat. Again, people are not targeting the right target. I love the look of this enemy. Just really pretty. Pay attention as the trash comes. Can't pause between the pulls here, so as soon as you enter this dungeon and activate, you're gonna be going through killing stuff non-stop for a bit. That's the last one. Going to on us. First boss, Unknown. One of my favorite looking bosses. Like a T-Rex that has been mutated. So, tank the boss in the middle. Notice that the life is going down relatively fast. Fetid Fang is going to be the tank buster. Scrutiny! Position yourself to not be targeting any of these, and boss is going to have a directional cone attack go off as well, so it's effects. You'll have time to move after the cone stops spinning. You'll have a little bit of time to figure out where you're going. Good ability. Gives everybody bleeding. Alright, second one's up. You'll want to burn down one before you burn down the other. Also want to pay attention to where one is pointing because they will do various things. Ability we got. Pay attention to the off one. Fetid Fang, we're gonna go with Rampart. Switch over. Just checking where their skills are. As soon as you get one down, it's gonna be easier. Right. One of them is down. The reason that you do a lot of damage is because two of them exist. Plain weirdness. Don't recall what that does. Root ability. All bleeding. I mean, that is just like a really cool looking boss. Off. Luminous Ray. Don't want to be standing in front of the boss for Luminous Ray. $4.55. I am at 510. Alright, so we've got Aniter Squibs. Got Thread on all three. Kinda want to kill this one first. Don't be afraid to mark things. Sometimes players will pay attention to the marks. Sometimes they won't. Focus most of your DPS on a single target. Things should die faster. One group. Edging closer to the ramp. As soon as there are 3 left, I'm going to run up here and grab the next group. I'm going to pop a couple cooldowns. Pull everything onto the diviner. The diviner is going to be standing back. Caster, so it's not going to move. In these dungeons, you will also see that things are going to get a little bit easier as we go along, and it's because of the way the gear scales. Okay, second boss. This is one of the bosses that will telegraph... Well, boss is going to telegraph what he does. So, be looking for it. Final verse. Trade wide damage. Under Mina swing. Point blank AoE. You want to run away from him. Position yourself right back there. Alright, he goes into the middle when he's casting the terrible hammer. Not want to stand on any place that has a hammer on it. This is very simple. I have the Cyclone. Bring attack around him. Hammer goes out. Immediately after the hammer goes out, the other one is going to go off, so you want to dodge accordingly. Wipe. Don't be in front of him. Final verse is going out again. Top. Damage reduction, because that'll hurt. Terrible hammer. Terrible blade. Hammer drops move. Final verse is going out again. Cover up. Okay, we got a stack mechanic on this one. Stack. didn't survive for the hammer or blade to go out. Move accordingly. Immediately after the hammer goes off, move to the blade. Don't move immediately, you will get hit. Now along here, you want to actually not pull all the way down, because there's going to be a summoning going on, and you want to destroy the summoner before they can summon, so you want all DPS on said target. We're going to have a section that's got 2 of them, and then we're going to have a section that's got 3 of them. I think we can... Yes. We might be able to DPS both of them down, we shall see. To DPS them down before they recharge and summon whatever they're summoning. Which is a bunch of enemies. Get the harpooners down, and we got the group of 3 up there, so we're sit here, take care of these guys. You can, if you want, pull the entire group up to the next section. I just prefer to do it like this because I just don't like dealing with the summoners. I prefer to kill them while they're not doing anything, so... For doing that, I'm gonna establish threat, and make sure that everything hates me. If you got a group that knows what they're doing, you can get both of them. You have to be on the ball. Dude. Did I really roll 74 on both of those? Alright. Last boss. Wait for them to finish viewing the cutscene. Okay. So for this boss, there's going to be a lot of things to do with these grates on the sides. Bonebreaker is going to be the tank buster. Boss is going to run back. Keybed ceremony. If you can, try to stay mid. Going to have hands that come out. They're going to be facing different ways. We're going to have various AoEs go off. Right, we've got water coming from stand on these. Don't stand on them. Get the harpooners that come out. And they make the boss invincible until you kill them. So if you see bubbling coming from the grates, go and stand on one that's not being stood on by somebody else. Seabed ceremony. Okay. Stay in the middle to find out which direction it's going first. Okay. You want to come over and stand where it's not going, and then you want to run to the other side. Lets you dodge everything and avoid taking damage. It's ultimately what you want to do as DPS and heals. Got ripples. Oh, hands are going to come out. When the hands come out, you have to stand on certain grates. You have to stand on the grate that is going to be opposite of where the hand comes out. Reason for doing so, because the hand is going to slap down on the grate that's nearest to it, preventing anything from coming out. Seabed ceremony again. Depth grip. So, position yourself in a place where you're not going to hit people. Engage the boss again. There's Seabed ceremony coming up. It's going to be a moving one, so I'm going to move to the middle. Yes, I am going to continue doing the fight, despite it being almost over. Keep doing mechanics until the fight is over. Right, done in there. I just repaired my gear. Alright, so, that's all I'm gonna be doing for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out my YouTube. Follow everything. Watching on YouTube, don't forget to check out my Twitch, where I will do these live. My schedule's posted there or Discord. Um, yeah. Thanks to everybody that stopped in today, aside from the bot that was trying to get my channel banned. Find someone to raid very nicely. You're going to go and raid them. So, have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves. Please be safe. That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. Right. How long are you? Been on for 3 hours. Yeah, we can go raid you. We're gonna raid Seb Lefty. They are playing Dark Souls 3, which is similar in style, but definitely not in content. Around if you want. I will see everybody over there momentarily. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful night.